stage with Sergi Sendra, who is Dorna Sports Head of Global Technology for MotoGP, and that video was, well, it's the first time it's been shown outside of MotoGP. It was first played on Sunday with the new branding on it, so you are honoured.
Hi, hello. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Okay.
Cool, thank you. And yes, I've been pursuing Sergi. Sounds bad, but I have been pursuing him to get him on stage for about 5 years, 6 years. So yes, I'm feeling quite good. So let's start at the beginning. You were a director for MotoGP for 26 years, and you have been responsible for creating and standardising the way MotoGP is directed globally, as well as the sound for it. So tell us briefly about that background and how that.
Yes, the background to understand where we are now and why all this happened is in 1992 we were 15 people going to Japan. So it was the first Grand Prix for Dorna, acquired the rights, commercial rights and merchandising and television rights. So that Grand Prix was a nightmare, basically, because we didn't control anything. We just were we were landing in Japan, and then all that year, it meant that we were working with 13 broadcasters, and that was basically what Dorna found during the first 10 years. So we knew it. We wanted to establish a guidelines on MotoGP from scratch, and what we decided was starting standardizing because every broadcasters were doing a different job. Some countries were better than the others. So the goal was, well, we are going to make a participation, including ourselves at the end of the process. So I started mixing myself 4 signals, basically, 1 audio technician and 1 guy taking care of the graphics. Graphics in MotoGP means timing and scoring. And when we started being, it was a layer over the broadcaster. So we were working with Malaysians, Americans, French, English, and we realized, okay, what do we need to do? And we spent like 10 years to realize that we had to take care of everything, every single production everywhere. I had the privilege to do that. So for me, I have had unbelievable and weird situations like Indonesia, having to learn Indonesian words to direct people there. So then we standardize it, and now we have a team of people that it's practically the same people. We went from 5 people to nearly 250 people per Grand Prix. And the good thing is that every Grand Prix, anywhere where we are, we bring all the technology, we bring all the people, we bring all the knowledge. And through all these years, we acquired the onboard cameras, we acquired the timing, and we took care about every single detail to make this happen.
And on those details, tell us about the kind of evolution of the sound of MotoGP. Does that explain?
Yes, the sound. Well, the sound, as I said, the first time I was directing, I had a guy of audio, and I don't know how many microphones we had, but maybe we controlled 10 or 12. Now we have 200 microphones. Just for your knowledge, half of them are on the bikes. And the most important thing that has happened in the audio, it has 2 very important moments. The first important moment is in 2013, when Labo goes in. We did a kind of a tender, and Philip Labo, who came with us that year, he realized, okay, I know what I have to do here. And the most incredible thing was that in the final Grand Prix, we had all these analog mixers with analog people working. And Philip set up a system completely new with Felix, by the way he was mixing. And I remember on Sunday, we were about to have a world champion. And I said to him, well, he showed to me the result, and it was amazing. Everything IP, picking up the signals from the, and we got these guys mixing analog. Said, do you want to do this live tomorrow? Can we do it tomorrow? We tell nothing to anybody. The Italian guys were mixing themselves. They didn't know they weren't live. And we had live with Felix, and it was a success. And so it was such a success that, okay, Felix, there's no tender now. You and me, we need to negotiate, okay? And said that, Labo put the mixer. We could be able to make 5.1. You need to know that MotoGP has a problem compared to the wonderful Olympics. We have noise. We have 130 dBs in each bike, and we have 22 bikes, and they are running together. And to separate that, it's not a problem. And then here it is a kind of a miracle, because in 2019, Rod came to Valencia, I remember my technician saying, I'm quite a busy man in the Grand Prix because I jump from one plate to the other and say, Sergi, we have a dinner tonight with one guys from Audio Technica. I said, no, I cannot have dinner. I am very busy. And they said, it's people that wants to talk about microphones. And then my head was like, what? What are you saying? Somebody from the microphone industry is interested in us. And they say, and then we start talking. And then we had to convince Robert Morgan on winter on a crazy day in Barcelona, close to Christmas, because we wanted to have somebody developing, somebody immersed on the audio, because MotoGP had no, let's say we didn't have any industry behind, and it's a very difficult part. We had a lot of camera evolution, a lot of radio frequency, but we didn't have this audio thing. So Audio Technica came at that moment in 2019, and we are still together, and now we are fighting for the next, fighting very amicably for the next contract, because we have so many things to do, and we have done so many things in these 6 years.
Yeah, and with Audio Technica, they've gone through different stages of development with you. So what did they start on first, and how's that
We started with the track fit. We started with a simpler thing in MotoGP. You need to think that in Austin Grand Prix, you can fit 129 football pitches. So just have an idea of this. It's immense. You need to cover every corner. You have people shouting. You have the bikes with a big sound. You have 22 garages full of people talking. We have all these people on the grandstand. So we don't have a football match or a baseball match or something that you could have under control. We are here to talk about audio. So we started with a track feed. We started introducing microphones on the floor, on the ground, to listen the crashes, to listen, because again, when a guy crash, all your microphones are pointing to position, and the guy crashed there, and there's no microphone there. It's impossible. And we are talking about hundreds of meters sometimes. So all we did was trying to set up the best, the best deployment on the track, to start talking about the ENG guys, and then is when we realized, okay, because that was one of my goals. We have one electret microphone inside the bike. That sounds like very bad, okay, to be polite. And this sound, okay, you're listening to the bike, but has no dynamics, nothing. So then is when we enter in, because the relationship with our partners always is not commercial. It's not only commercial. It's we talk to the engineers. We knew that we have such a specific world, and it's so complicated that you need to talk to the engineers to make sure our sprint, our weekend is a sprint in terms of digital development. In this sprint, we are going to come back with 20 ideas, with 20 questions, and then with Audio Technica, we had the team with Robert Morgan talking to the Japanese. This weekend in Barcelona, we had 3 Japanese engineers working with us, and a guy trying to translate. Sometimes he forgot to translate, and then I think they understood the words, but we had 3 engineers, one touching the microphone, another touching the speakers. And I mean, this is the way that you can work in MotoGP.
Yeah, yeah. And
did an answer to you, because I was going, yeah. Okay.
Vale. And so what's the next step in evolution for MotoGP? You know, I know what are we going to see next season? What's coming up? And what are the complications?
This is the right moment to talk about this. It was confidential maybe 1 year ago, but it's now 4 years, 2020, so already working with Audio Technica. Mm-hmm. But in 2020, during the pandemic, the sport people say, we must talk to the riders in some way. We need to send messages. For your knowledge, audio was forbidden 10 years ago. Because I am in MotoGP 32 years, I know all the evolution. And I remember 15 years ago when we said, we are going to put a system in the helmet. And I went to talk to the Italian, Nolan, and the Italians, you know, Europeans, we are a bit like crazy, and we will put this, that. Okay. When I went to the Japanese, one guy in front of me, I was talking, and the other said, you are not going to touch my helmet. And I thought, no, I don't want to touch your helmet. You are not going to touch my helmet. The helmet is, and then it's like Shoei, Arai, and then I came back and said, they don't want to talk about this. I mean, how do we install something? So we forget it. Not only for this, but for many things, but one moment. I need water. They totally forget it. I said, we totally forget it. So 15 years later, we said, now we need audio. And because I stopped directing, because directing was really tough. By the way, it's strange if not. I am an engineer, journalist, and I know a bit of graphic design. So I was thinking about all the things to make something very special, but the technology is so important. I mean, you can direct something, but if you don't know what it means, you asking something to a technician, he will never succeed.
Yes.
The last thing you can do is get angry, because they are the best people in the world. I mean, technicians work for somebody else. I mean, they never take credit. They are in the shadow. So for me, it was very important to say, okay, now we are going to succeed, and now it's like we make a test, introducing some kind of headset inside the ears, and now I can tell you this. Everybody will say, oh, Formula One has this wonderful helmet. Okay, Formula One, the guy is sitting in the car. He has this in-ear with accelerometers, with speakers inside, with a silicon block. And because he's not moving, this block, he accepts it, and it's comfortable. When we test it in MotoGP, the rider is moving all the time. The rider feels the helmet sometimes pushing, because 350 kilometers per hour. I don't know who of you who have tried this. It's the most crazy, unbelievable experience. Last Sunday, last Tuesday, talking to Pecco Bagnaia, world champion, he was complaining to me, yeah, you have done something in my cheek pad, and I was feeling the helmet going up, and it's dangerous. And then when you realize that this helmet is for protecting, our riders are hammers. When you jump from a bike because you crash, you are rolling and touching and pushing and kicking everything. This doesn't happen in Formula One, thanks God, because they have this protection. Okay, so the helmet manufacturer today is more serious than that guy of Arai. What we say is, okay, we are going to go to them, and we are going. And by the way, we don't have one or two. We have 10 helmet manufacturers: Koreans, Indonesians, Japanese, French, and Italian. Okay, everybody is good enough. Everybody is good. Everybody is okay. But everyone has his own design, his own particular things. So we are talking to all these manufacturers. We are trying to convince the 22 riders. We are talking to the Japanese engineers in Audio-Technica. We are talking to FIM, because they need to homologate the helmet, and we need to be inside this homologation. And that is going to take even still months, because there's people taking care that whatever we put in the helmet, which it must be passive, so it means cable. We cannot put Bluetooth, because no battery accepted, no electronics accepted. All of this means that you will have to have something completely innocuous or innocent. So that's taking a lot of work compared to the Wi-Fi, or compared to the 5 minutes. Okay, to the ham. Okay, the ham. I mean, in the car, the guy is connected to the car. I mean, he connected. We don't have this. The rider itself, which is a wonderful thing, because one day this rider will be talking, because now, again, I was saying the Olympics, we only listen to them when they are out in the bike. But when they are in the bike and they shout because they won the championship, you see a guy make it like this, like Charles Chaplin television. You know, it's old-fashioned. You cannot hear what they express and everything. So for us, it's very important to them to listen, them to talk, and communication to all the garages with all the teams. But this is going to be, we have counted 440 audios in total. Right. 440 audios more, apart from the 200 that we have now. So whoever wants to become the mix, Felix, I invite you there.
And with all those sources, I mean, are you playing with any other technologies like AI?
Yes, the next step, by the time we are able to succeed on the deployment of the technology with the helmets and with the intercoms and with the Wi-Fi's and with we know we have another situation. I don't want to call it problem. Formula One speaks English, but we have Spanish, Catalan, Valencian, Italian, French, Japanese, and everybody talks different languages. We don't have this in MotoGP is more complicated. We will have to translate. We will have to select. Now that we are putting microphones on a rider, when he's talking, you don't know when he's going to talk. So we have this noise, 130 dBs, and then we need to clean it, package it, sending it. I don't care if it's 2, 3, 4 seconds later. It doesn't matter. Now we have nothing. So only listening that this guy is saying, I go to the box, or my front tire is not right, it's going to be, and apart from this, they will be listening audios which this doesn't need artificial intelligence. But we will have to work hard on artificial intelligence to clean, polish, and take out some audios, virtualize maybe voices. With a virtualized voice, you will be able to better understand because you and me, we pronounce differently, will, or whatever. No?
Yeah.
So it's a fascinating work in front of us.
Yes.
But at this moment, we're still trying to succeed with all the parameters that we have.
Yeah, yeah. AI has some catching up to do for you first, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And then going back to your old job, directing. You know, with all that audio you've got and all those millions of sources that you're hoping to roll out with them in helmet mics and that kind of stuff. You know, when riders are mic'd up over the next few years, how complex is that going to become for a director?
Well, it's a great question, but at this moment the director is so busy that I don't want to annoy him thinking.
Scare him.
But not only director, it's going to be a content concept. I mean, editorially, by the time, I mean, because every one of us has the reference of Formula One. Formula One has this garage, the garage, let's say, management when they go in and out and they'll talk. I have been said now with people recently that Davide Brivio, someone that was with Alonso, now they don't stop talking all the time in the car. I mean, this was not happening in the past. We are not have access to that, but they are sitting and talking during practice. So for us now, this editorial treatment is going to be based on if there is interest. But again, for us now, the first level is safety. We want the riders to listen red flag. We want the riders to listen checkered flag, pit lane open, you need to go to you are penalized, mechanical problems. This is going to be the first layer, okay? Next year, in the next 2 years. The third year, it will be when they will be started talking. So we still have a kind of time in front of us to work on all of that, because obviously you will have to manage a lot of more information, but will enrich a lot the product.
Yes, yeah. I'm just thinking of the poor directors and everybody else, but it's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Sergi.
You're welcome.
And please give Sergi a huge round of applause. That was awesome.
Thank you.